My name is Karen, and let's get motivated together for a weekly home reset. My grocery order is in. I always get a big package of paper towels, and then I have our K-Cups. We love the blueberry cobbler. We love some buttery caramel, and then I have some heavy whipping cream for soup, tamari, which we use for soy, egg whites, which I use about every single morning. I have some potatoes. I'm going to do that for some zuppa toscana soup, and a couple packages of green onions, tomatoes. I got red onions. We are always using up red onions. We're always using red bell peppers. And then, of course, our weekly cucumbers. We just love to eat them with some salt. 2 packages of ground beef, which you're going to see me use at the end of this video. 1 family pack of chicken thighs and 1 family pack of boneless breast of chicken. Always good to have around. And then we have these individual ones too that we freeze. And if someone's just making one, they can just pop it out. This is my daughter's dairy-free chocolate chips, some plantain chips for snacking, tofu for lunches, and then regular bows, and then gluten-free pasta. Leo's favorite snack here. He has one every single morning when he gets up. Woozy doesn't like it. And then fresh cut green beans, which is for me. 2 cans of black beans. We are always eating black beans. It is a total staple. And then I have the diced tomatoes with chilies and one without. More egg white there. And then garlic, cashews for my husband's snacking. More heavy whipping cream, so that my husband can use it for his coffee. We have turkey bacon, reduced fat mozzarella, light sour cream, baby spinach, and bananas for snacking. Also, 2 dozen eggs. We go through quite a bit of eggs. And then this is pepper jack spreadable cheese that I'm going to be using for an upcoming recipe this week as well. And then, of course, laundry detergent, softener. We have the Fabric Crystals, Pepsid for tummy aches. Yep, there's those laundry crystals, the Downy Unstoppables. I don't get the same brand every week. It's just kind of whatever I can get to come up online. With all of the best intentions, I was going to clean out the refrigerator before the groceries came, but it just didn't happen. So I'm going to do it as quick as I can so that I can get all the refrigerated things put away. I did get the chicken breast, the one in the bag, in the freezer. So anything that needed to go in the freezer could go in, but there really wasn't much. You can see it is quite dirty. There were crumbs up there too, which is why I was using the vacuum cleaner. And then I'm just getting it wiped out. I think I showed you in my last video kind of the before shot, but crumbs, dirt, I mean, it just needed to be done. I do love having the little rotary things. They are in my Amazon store, which is linked to my description box if you're looking for something like that too. The Lazy Susan stuff I find super helpful. That's some leftover chicken soup I have up there. And so I'm just kind of rearranging things and then wiping around. And then I'll go back in with the cleaner and the paper towel. This is one of the reasons I like having a vacuum that has the handheld piece, because it's just so much easier to get into small spaces. So I am doing this just as quickly as I can. I don't end up doing the doors at all. We didn't really have anything going in there, and they're getting emptier by the day. So I feel like I could do that quick another day. So I'm getting everything wiped down, all the crumbs taken out, so that I can be putting the next week's groceries in. And do you have a refrigerator that beeps at you if you have it open too long? It wants to remind me that I'm wasting electricity. Once in a while it is helpful because someone will shut the refrigerators and not shut them tight, thinking they did. And then we hear the alarm and we know that it is not well in the world. So I'm just going to empty out this drawer. This is where I keep like cheese and bacon, sausage, that type of stuff, sandwich meat. Those crispers above it are where I keep vegetables. On the left-hand side is loose veggies, and on the right-hand side, it's more like, say, a head of lettuce or cabbage or a bag of salad, that sort of thing. So I'm just getting this vacuumed out, getting it wiped down, and then I can put everything right back in it. I'm not trying to keep much of a food stock in the home now. I'm really trying to make sure we have enough for the week. I'm trying to eat down things. And I'm doing this because when the holidays come, you're going to be having maybe company, maybe not, but I have a pretty big family. So I want to make sure I always have room in the refrigerator for any special events and special event foods. Woozy, he's ready for a nap, but I don't know. He wanted to be part of the video. He doesn't often get to be the star of the show. Leo just steals his shine. So today he got to come out and say hi to you. And I know I shouldn't have a cat up on the island, but I promise you I will disinfect it when I'm done. I absolutely love the weekends. I love being able to just kind of take my time. I don't have as much going on, and I'm obviously not homeschooling on the weekend. And so it's just a good time to slow down, figure out what you need in the home, figure out what you would like to have done around the house before the busy week starts. Monday is my busiest work week with my coaching business. And so I like to get things all nice and ready around the house so then I can just relax and enjoy talking to my clients on our health journeys together, knowing that the house has been reset. So do you like to do special things? I know for some people, maybe they work more on the weekends, so you might do your reset in the middle of the week. I've also enjoyed doing like a Wednesday reset sometimes too, just midweek, saying, okay, what's going to get us through the rest of the week, and then doing a bit of a reset then too. But I just want to make sure the laundry is caught up. I want to make sure there's food in the house, and I have a general plan of what we're going to be eating at least for a few days. I want to make sure that my floors are swept and vacuumed and things are in general wiped down, and it just makes me feel so good about the week ahead. I had already changed my bed sheets earlier in the week, and that was in a previous video, so I don't feel like I need to do that now. I think I did it on Wednesday. In fact, I'm pretty positive I did because my husband was in the office that day, so it was a good day. Since he works in our bedroom, it became a good day to change the sheets, so maybe I will keep that up for a while and just keep doing it on Wednesdays. Also on the weekends, I like to kind of slow down. I really do not hate cleaning my house. What I hate is when I'm in a hurry because it wears me out quick. But if I can kind of go low and slow and just focus on what I'm doing, have time to myself, have time to think, then I actually really enjoy cleaning and taking care of my home. It's when I'm super busy and I have 15 different places to be and I really don't have time and I'm kind of anxious about it, that's when I really don't enjoy cooking or cleaning or doing any of the things around the house. But if I can really focus on what I'm doing, and honestly, when you're cleaning, usually, if you think about it, people tend to leave you alone. It's more like self-care. I'm thinking about how blessed I'm going to be to have all this done, how good it's going to feel, and just thinking about each task at hand. And sometimes I can even just be doing it subconsciously while I completely think about other things. Other times I'm watching a video while I do it, or I'm listening to a podcast, or just a chatty video. Usually it's a chatty video. I don't listen to a lot of podcasting. If I do, it's usually about how to do YouTube better so I can get better at making video for all of you. But most of the time it's just another mom, another wife taking care of her home too. While I finish putting the groceries away, let's get a little encouraging song in here.
Morning has broken, my windows are open. Wanna feel the wind go through my hair. Which way do I follow? What happens tomorrow? I turn to you and hope you can guide the way. Sometimes I give up, just wanna be on my own.
The grocery order and getting everything cleaned out, the fridge and the pantry, that was on Friday. I used to do my grocery order on Saturday, but because I make my grocery order first thing in the morning and because I'm up early before everyone else, what would happen is I would schedule delivery. It would always end up being the wrong time. Either the time we ended up going out for errands or wanted to go out for errands, or maybe my husband and I decided to sneak out and have a little lunch together or something. It just seemed like I always planned it for the absolute most inconvenient time. So now I go ahead and get groceries on Friday. And I do not have the pressure of needing to get groceries for the whole week because I have opened myself up to the possibility of doing it twice. And it really does save me money because I think, could I go without this for 2 or 3 days? And oftentimes the answer is yes. And then that next time comes up again, could I go without this for 2 or 3 days? And then also sometimes I'll buy things for meals and then hardly anybody's home. And my husband and I will just have something simple. Or maybe I have one daughter home, it'll end up being like a breakfast at dinner time. And so then I don't need as many meals to get me through the week. So overall, it has really helped me to save money. And I'm really enjoying going ahead and getting those groceries on Friday instead of Saturday. So now it's Saturday, up early and getting the dishes done, getting the dishwasher unloaded, getting anything that was in there loaded. And also, I always would have my daughters handle the supper time cleanup, because usually I am super tired. Oh, by the way, love this Scrub Mama or Scrub Daddy paste. It's so good. Gets off hard water stains. It's gritty though. You got to rinse it really good. But anyway, so if nobody's home at night and I'm super tired, sometimes I don't get the dishes done. So then it has to be done in the morning. And I have just settled in myself that I'm okay with going to bed with a messy sink full of dishes. I would honestly prefer them not in the sink. I'd prefer them stacked on the countertop so I can still use the sink. But either way, I am fine with catching up the next morning because that's when I have all of my energy. And as you plan your routines, I hope that you're thinking about when you have energy. All of us have a time in the day when we are at a green light, at our highest energy, whatever that is, however small or big that is. Yellow light energy when we're starting to fizzle, but we could still get a few things done. Maybe we could do something like putting in a grocery order where you're sitting on the couch. And then the red light energy when it's like, no, I am completely done. And a lot of times we might see a video that talks about a morning routine, but our energy's at night. So it would be unwise to feel bad about yourself because you can't get a ton done in the morning if afternoon or evening is your green light. It's okay to schedule your highest productivity during your highest energy point. In fact, it's important to schedule your highest activity when you have the highest amount of energy. I'm showing you that I'm using the Mrs. Meyer's orange clove. That stuff smells really good. I used it the day before on the refrigerator too. So let me know in the comments, when is your green light energy? When are you the most productive? And have you set your routines to utilize that energy? And sometimes we might force ourselves to doing some things in our yellow light energy so we can go out and do something fun with our green light energy. You have to choose what's best for you. And watching a video about how to get up at 5 a.m., if you're not a morning person, there's really no reason to either watch that video, or certainly if you like to watch it, that's great. But you shouldn't feel badly if you can't get up at 5 a.m. Honestly, I wish I could sleep in. I really do. But this body isn't doing it anymore. So I am up before the birds. In most cases, most days, I do enjoy being up before the birds, really because that gives me a lot of alone time where I have teenagers and young adult children. They don't tend to get up super duper early, so it is a guaranteed time to have time to myself, whereas they do tend to stay up late. So late night is really not a great time for me to have alone time anyway. So I tend to be the first one, honestly. 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 times out of 10, I am the first person to bed because I'm headed to my room by about 9:30. I like to watch one video to help me relax, and then I go to sleep. I'm about to sweep the floor, and so I'm just kind of showing you, a lot of times you just can't see it on camera. You can't see it against my gray floors, but my kitchen floor is just honestly pretty constantly in need of a good sweep, and it does need to be steamed. I thought I would get to it this day and I didn't, so it's just going to go on my list for another day, and I'm not going to give another thought to it. I didn't get it done, and it'll happen. It's okay. And sometimes I just spot wash a little bit, spray some all-purpose cleaner on a spot that's particularly bad, and give it a good wipe. I do honestly need to get myself a new vacuum. I've had that Dyson. I can't remember how many years I've had the Dyson. I got it, I don't know, a year or so after I had been doing YouTube. And I really loved it. I have to say, I got it because I was influenced, and I just kept seeing influencers using the cordless Dyson, and that just seemed like the bee's knees to me. I will say that when I first got it, it was just a miracle. But after having it for a few years, it doesn't do great with sand, and I have a gravel driveway. So it just tends to pick it up and spit it out, or when I shut it off, it'll fall back out of the top of the vacuum, which is super annoying. So I have been sweeping my floor, and I actually enjoy sweeping. You'll notice this old handle on the broom. Our handle broke, so my husband just got a handle down out of the basement and screwed it in. And the funny part is it's too long, so I'm always bonking it on things, and I keep threatening to buy a new broom, and then I never do. So maybe this will be the year or next year that I get myself a new broom with a normal length handle, so that I'm not hitting the walls and everything else with it as I travel. Once I get everything swept up, then it's going to be time to do some cooking. And so I'm going to show you a low carb recipe today, and then I also have just a chili that I'm going to be making. So stay tuned for that if you like some cooking, and we'll chat as I cook. I get a lot more chatty in that segment of the video. Here is that satisfying dirt pile. I love this. It's just like watching problems get swept away, and then we can move on to more fun. Okay, I am making another new recipe to me. So whoever's been asking for me to cook on my channel, I just want to thank you, because I probably wouldn't do this if it wasn't for you. So this is another low carb recipe. So, feel free to add carbs to it. Rice or pasta, anything that you want that would be carby if you're not low carb. So let me just go through. This is a cheeseburger soup. It is an Optavia recipe. Give credit where credit is due. So it says 1 pound of 90% lean ground beef. This is 96%, so we know we've at least hit it. 1/4 cup of onion, so chopped onion, so I'll have to give that a chop. And then a 3/4 cup of diced celery, so I have celery heart right here. I'll have to give that a chop. I'll be chopping it super small. My husband does not like chunks of celery, and I hope he'll eat this. And then 1 14.5-ounce can of diced tomatoes, and then 3 cups of, they say, low sodium chicken broth. This isn't low sodium, but I'm still going to use it. It's my favorite chicken broth. 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. How do you say that? Worcestershire sauce. I'm not a big fan of this, but I'm going to use it in faith that professional cooks know more than me. A teaspoon of dried parsley. So I have this is my favorite brand of spices, Nature's Promise Organic, because it's no more expensive than the regular. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 7 cups of baby spinach. So I actually have 2 bags here. And then 4 ounces of reduced fat shredded cheddar cheese. Not a moment too soon, because I see somebody's been into my shredded cheddar. All right, so I have my soup pot here. I'm going to use my Dutch oven, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this together, and it's only 230. So I'm going to put this together, then I'm going to put it in the crock pot. I'm putting it together here because I need to saute the beef, onion, and celery till tender. So honestly, what I could do is do that and then put everything else in the crock pot. Now there's an idea. Let me go get my crock pot. I also have slow cooker liners, but I have to be honest, and I want to know from your experience, if you use slow cooker liners, do your liners get compromised? I have been finding that either they get a hole in them or it just seems like they leaked. So let me know. I have the Reynolds Kitchen crock pot liner. So if you have a liner that's not Reynolds and it doesn't leak, it doesn't get holes in it, maybe my family's too rough. I don't know. But if you have one you feel like works, if you could let me know what brand you buy, I would very much appreciate that. So I'm going to put this on low. Remember to always put hot things in a hot crock pot and cold things in a cold crock pot so you don't risk cracking the crock pot. Don't crack the crock. All right. So, what did it say for oil for sauteing this hamburger? Of course, it doesn't maybe because it's 90%. So I'm just going to give mine a spray. Since I'm using the 96%, I think I'm going to need some kind of oil. But first, I'm going to give my onions and my celery, get that all chopped up. So what I'm going to do is, it's a quarter cup of onion, and that's because, I mean, usually onions aren't even on my plan, so that's a little surprising, but I guess because they're controlling how much, and it's counting as one of the greens in our lean green meal. But still, normally we don't even eat onions, so it's only a quarter cup. So once I put the quarter cup in the cup, it's 3/4 of a cup celery, so I'll just fill it up the rest of the way with the celery. I am nowhere near an expert chopper. If you hear plastic, Leo is trying to get in a paper towel package, which I probably shouldn't even be letting him do. He's so crazy. But at least he's not up here on the counter with me, which kind of surprises me, not going to lie, because that's what he usually wants to do. Yeah, this isn't going to be a whole lot of onion at all. You're talking quarter cup. And, you know, you can even Google vegetable weight conversion chart, because if you're really on a plan where you're measuring, you know, vegetables, and you weigh them instead of putting them in a cup, it'll be a more accurate measurement. You'll actually get to have more vegetable. Because, you know, it's like if you think about broccoli and how broccoli takes up space in the cup, you know, there's obviously a lot of air in there. All right, now let's get to the celery. My husband, like I said, he's not a lover of celery, but he said if I cut it small, he can do it. I'm going to wash it. This isn't like the best looking. I've had it for like a week because I was going to make this earlier and I didn't. So that's okay. We're making it now. Cut off the little ends, throw them in the trash like a basketball hoop. So I'm going to cut it down the center so that, well, that was not center, but oh well. So that's thinner. And then cut them as thin as I can so that he's not completely offended. I am really loving these recipes, and they're free online. You can go to Pinterest and look up Optavia recipes. I have not tried one yet that I didn't like. So you don't have to be on the plan to get the recipes. But the branding is like a green stripe in the way that the font of Optavia, you know, if you look up on Optavia.com, you can see the branding. That way you know it's one of their recipes, because a lot of people will put up an Optavia recipe, but they mean it like I would use the word keto. It's not necessarily from a certain company. It's just they're on Optavia and it may be a recipe they did. So then they're not always as low carb as what Optavia would be. So if you're, say, diabetic, you're probably at about 100 to 130 grams of carbs a day. And the Optavia plan is 100 grams of carbs a day. Not as low as keto for sure. Not that you need that information, but if you're deciding, maybe you're diabetic and you're deciding if you can eat this, you probably can. Probably can. Let me see what it says. I'm going to need another piece of celery. 11 grams of carbs is in this recipe, and what I am making will make 4 servings. I am a leftovers girl, so making 4 servings makes me very happy. Like that recipe I made recently for you guys that had chicken thighs in it. It was a chicken thigh cacciatore. I ate that for 3 days in a row and I was not sorry about it. I loved it every night. I would have eaten 4 nights in a row, but my husband had eaten 1 serving and I had done 4 servings, so it only lasted 3 days. He ate it once. I ate it 3 times. And that's always good because then, you know, my daughters are not on low carb. My husband is, I am. So he sometimes likes to just do his own thing of things I don't like, maybe something full of sausage or something that I don't love. And so it gives him a chance to do something I don't love. And it gives me a chance to make something else for my daughters that isn't low carb, that I can't eat. And I'm not, you know, burning out energy making all these different meals. There, that's good. That's perfect. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to be sauteing the onion, the celery, as well as the beef. See, I knew he would come up here eventually. Leo. All right, all right, all right. We're going to saute. I'm actually going to put this in first. It doesn't say to do that, but that's just how I generally cook, is to put the veggies in first. And then while that's happening, I can open up my tomatoes so that is all ready. Often when we eat dinner or we're cooking, Leo will get himself up on top of the refrigerator. He feels like that gives him the best view. You know, he's got to get up high because he's a supervisor. I like to cook with a spatula. I like to cook with a wooden spoon, but I know I'm going to have to kind of chop up that hamburger, and a spatula does really well. So I like this pot. I don't have to worry about scratching it with my spatula. Unlike if I were to use Teflon, but I use my Dutch oven for just about everything. Ooh, it smells good. Woo! That's hitting me, that onion. Woo! They say to cook the beef first. I don't ever do that. Is that how you would do it? Beef first and then veggie? I know it's all going to get cooked down anyway from being in the crock pot. I'm not even worried about it. So it said 1 pound of burger. I like to get this 96% lean, and part of the reason is if I have much of a fat content in my ground beef at all, I get a very bad stomach ache. So I don't have a gallbladder. I have to be careful with fat. And I can add fat like avocado oil to it and be fine, but there's something about the animal fat that seems to get to me. I don't understand why I'm not putting the salt and pepper in here yet, but that's okay. It'll all end up there in the end. You know what? Maybe I will put the salt and pepper in. Said 1/4 teaspoon of each, so I just kind of put it in my hand. Unless your doctor says otherwise, if you're eating low carb, you don't need to worry too much about salt because your body kind of flushes that out if you're not eating a lot of carbs. Or at least that's my understanding. I think if you want the carbs, this would be a great recipe to add some cooked rice, where it is a cheeseburger soup, or have it over rice or put rice in it at the end. Or you could have it with bread or biscuits on the side. That would probably be better if you have like bread or biscuits, especially like a crusty French bread. Probably shouldn't talk about it, should I? Right, this is almost ready to go in the crock pot. And then another thing I was thinking about doing today is throwing a quick chili together and putting it in the refrigerator, and then I'll put it in the crock pot tomorrow before we go to church. And then, because today's our Saturday, and then when we come home from church, you know, if I just put it on warm, it'll just be perfect. All right, this is just about good. You probably can't even see it with all this steam. have the pan kind of hot because I wanted it to go fast. All right, so some of the instructions were missing on the app I was looking at. So this actually says, in a large pan, combine the tomatoes, broth, Worcestershire sauce, parsley, salt, and pepper. Cover and simmer for 20 minutes on low heat. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be fine if I just put it in the crock pot. I can't imagine why it would need to be separated from the beef to cook. What do you think? So that's what I'm going to do. I mean, why follow directions? You're not putting the cheddar on it until you put it in your bowl. So I can put the cheddar away. The spinach, you just need to put in at the end because you know it's going to wilt. You don't want it to disintegrate. If you need to put it in early, I would suggest doing what I did the other day with the zucchini and just set it on top, which is what I might do today if it fits, because 7 cups is a lot. All right, so I will put this in before I put in the beef. By the way, I am married. I just lost my wedding band. It's very sad. Okay, here's my tomatoes. 3 cups of chicken broth. I love the Nature's Promise chicken broth. It's really very, very good. 1. I don't usually measure. I usually put in extra broth, but I'm going to measure today. This was already opened in the refrigerator. Ooh, just about, look, that's all the extra that was in there, so I must have taken a cup out already. I also want to have the instructions right where I'm putting the Worcestershire in. So I want to know what it would actually taste like if I made the broth correctly. Whereas usually I put in a lot of extra broth. So we're doing 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire, or Worcestershire. You know, it looks like Worcester, Massachusetts, but it's Worcester. So maybe this is Worcestershire. I have no idea how to pronounce it. I guess it smells kind of like barbecue sauce. I guess it's not that bad. Salt and pepper. Oh, I put the salt and pepper in the hamburger, so I guess I don't need to do that. We'll just do the 1 teaspoon of parsley. This is a 1/2 teaspoon, so we'll just do 2 of these of parsley. I hardly ever use parsley. So we'll put this on high to start, and then once it boils, I'll turn it down. That's what I've decided to do. Because, you know, this isn't a crock pot recipe. We're just making it into one. Now I am going to add the hamburger mixture, which is hamburger, celery, onion, and I chose to use red onion. That's what I tend to buy. It's our favorite. And it said to drain off the fat, but because I use the 96%, there's no fat to drain off. So if you use the 90 like they said drain off most of the fat. And if you use like 85 or 81, I would try to drain off all, knowing that you probably can't, so then you would be left with what you want. Ooh, that's hot. That handle heated up really fast. All right. Here we are. And then I'll put this away for now, but when it gets near to when we're going to eat, I'll go ahead and just put it in here. Stir it around, let it wilt, and then this will be ready to eat. And then you just sprinkle some of the reduced fat cheddar on your bowl when you go to eat it, and then it'll be nice and stretchy and yummy. Now I'm going to make a pot of chili. And the reason I'm making a pot of chili today is because tomorrow is Sunday. We've been in a habit of going to Subway or somewhere else to get food, which ends up being like $50. I don't want to do that. I know I'm going to wake up and I'm not going to want to put a chili together. So I'm going to put it together. I'm going to cool it off, put it in the fridge. And in the morning, I'm going to pop it in the crock pot so that when we get home, it'll be nice and hot. So this is the recipe that you saw Yvonne make. But just in case you missed that video, it is a tablespoon of olive oil. I'm just going to be using avocado oil because that is what I always use. 1 medium yellow onion. I have red onion. That's what I'm going to use. 1 pound of 90% lean ground beef. Again, 96%. 2.5 tablespoons of chili powder. This is the other brand I like. It's Simply Organic. Pretty inexpensive. All right, can you see me now? Whoop. And then 2 tablespoons of ground cumin. Oh man, we are always, oh, I had another chili powder I should be using first. That's got a little bit in there. We are always running out of cumin, so cross your fingers. Oh, I know I need garlic powder. Cross your fingers for me on this. Oh, there's the cumin. Yes. Okay. Literally, this is what I buy the most, cumin. My poor camera is like, I can't keep changing my focus. I'm an autofocus camera lady. Okay. And then I did the garlic powder. Oh yeah, tomato paste. I like to use the kind that comes in a tube. That way I'm not opening a can and then we never end up using the rest of it in time. Salt and pepper. Mrs. Salt and Mr. Pepper. It calls for, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper. Did I say 2 tablespoons of garlic powder? 4 tablespoons of tomato paste. It calls for, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. We have the doubled ingredients, but I'm not doubling today. 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. We usually split that in half. I'm not going to put any sugar in it. It calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper ground. I don't use that because it makes me sick. 1.5 cups of beef broth. And if you don't have beef broth, but you have veggie broth, that works. If you don't have veggie broth, but you got chicken broth, you could use that. 1 can of petite diced tomatoes. Oh, I gotta get that. My 1 can of petite diced tomatoes, and then 1 can of red kidney beans. I do not have red kidney beans, so I'm just gonna use black beans. No one will mind. A bean is a bean is a bean. 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. This is 15 ounces, so I will use half of that, or a little more than half. Basically a cup. All right, all you gotta do is, fry up the fryables and add the rest and call it a day. I didn't even wash this from my other recipe because there's hamburger in there. It's fine. But we are gonna chop up our onion first. Now the grocery haul I showed you was from yesterday. And when I do my groceries on the weekend, what I have been doing honestly is just trying to get through the weekend. And then I kind of see who's going to be around through the week and make another meal plan. And so what I had there, do you think that? I think this is about the equivalent of a medium. I don't know. Anyways, what I had for meats was chicken thighs, 2 packages of hamburgers, so I'm using those today, and then chicken breast. So I do have another recipe I want to use the chicken breast for. So that will probably be, whatever weeknight next I have enough people home to eat it. Or it'll be, Monday and I can do another grocery order of meats and anything else I'll need for whatever I choose to make. Then, oh, that got me. Woo! Maybe I'll just use a little bit of this one too. Oh man, that got me. Well, that is fresh. But I don't try to go the whole week because we're just going to change our mind or find out somebody was working. We didn't know they were working. They just don't get work schedules quick enough. Or they end up with plans, the teenagers, I mean. So it's just easier for me and I save money by doing it this way. And so last night, my husband, Robin, Robin, he made dinner and it was so good. He did a dry rub on some chicken thighs, cook them in the oven. And the great thing about him is he is super patient because those have to render and then they are so good. Okay, what am I doing? I'm looking at the other recipe. That has to render. Okay, 1 tablespoon of the olive oil. We're going to saute the onion. And so I had green beans with mine. I love green beans. Usually I'll do green beans or I'll do salad. We like roasted broccoli. I can't remember what my husband had for a vegetable. And then Rachel had cucumbers, and it was just the 3 of us at home. So there's still a couple more thighs in the fridge that I probably will end up freezing unless my daughter Rachel eats them, because she can't eat this chili and she won't be eating that soup. She doesn't really eat ground beef. Now today, all 3 of the teenagers are working. I won't be home for supper, so Robin and I will eat that cheeseburger soup, and then he doesn't always stick to whatever a serving is, but I should have a serving left for me, and instead of eating this chili with beans in it, since beans are carby, I will just eat that soup with the leftovers tomorrow. So we did the chicken thighs the night we got the groceries. Oh, my eyes. And then tonight is the cheeseburger soup. Tomorrow's the chili. And then, which is Sunday. And then Monday, we could do the chicken breast, which is something I will also film. Let me look at it. Excuse me as I'm like, it is called, it's another low carb one, which you're getting because I'm low carb, so now you are, whether you want to be or not. Oh, it was one I looked at before. Oh man, now I can't find, oh, here it is. No, that's not it. It was one that has spreadable pepper jack. And I feel like, it was like canned tomatoes, the kind with the chilies, and spreadable pepper jack, cheese, and chicken. And it was kind of like a stuffed chicken breast with the diced tomatoes and with the chilies and the cheese. Oh, so that's probably going to be Monday. But whenever I do make it, in case I change my mind, it'll come later. I will definitely film it for you. Okay, now it's time to add in this hamburger and to get you a fresh battery. So with the holidays coming, I'm really trying hard not to waste the monies. You know, not to be going out to eat and getting takeout. And it's so easy to do when you're super busy with holiday shopping. I know that's going to come. So I think, well, any night I can avoid us going out to eat or grabbing the quick, even if we go to the grocery store and everyone grabs like chicken tenders, that is super expensive. So anytime I can be making food at home, I'm going to be doing it. I'm trying to avoid going out to eat and trying to make sure I'm keeping my food inventory super low because I don't want to worry about things spoiling and not lasting. And I also want to have space in my fridge whenever we have holiday food. So I'm not tempted to use the fridge in the basement. Like, I don't mind using that when my son is here from Alabama or Indianapolis son, or, you know, when my sons and families are coming, but when it's just us, there's no reason. All right, so once this is browned, then I'll start adding the seasoning. So right now, I'm getting all of the cans open so that I can just dumpity-dump. That's what I love about chili. You just dump a bunch of stuff in there, and you got a meal. And for the people that want chips, we'll do Tostitos on the side. You know, they like to throw cheese on it, sour cream. If we're feeling real fancy, we'll make up some guacamole. We're going to drain these beans. We're definitely not using the juice of the bean. I'm not upset about it, though, if a little bit of juice gets in when I'm eating it. I think it adds flavor. But I am going to drain them. I'm not going to rinse them. I think it calls for rinsed. Yep, drained and rinsed. No, that's like flavor, man. We do like kidney beans, but I just don't have any. I'm gonna use what I have. And usually if I don't say anything, no one else will say anything either. I did not eat like this as a kid, so my mother was never making chili. It was like meat, potatoes, vegetable, soups, pot roast, spaghetti. I don't even really remember her making lasagna, to be honest. We ate very, very basic. And like she had this beef soup, a lot of stuff. You would add like tomatoes to it because her father is from Armenia and that's how they cook. So there was a pretty big Armenian influence to our food, rice pilaf, and just how she made different things. There was lots of tomato going in, or stuffed cabbage. She grew up on stuffed grape leaves. So we weren't doing that. I never had a taco till I was in high school. I never had Chinese food till I was in high school. We hardly ever went out to eat when I was young. We did that a little more as I got older. Okay. What's it saying next? We're going to put in the chili powder. Okay, all the spices are going in. So we're going to start with 2 tablespoons of cumin. I use my tablespoons for my morning coffee, so I don't always have the tablespoon clean. Because I do 2 tablespoons of coffee, the no sugar added coffee creamer with my coffee. I used to do that when I was first on the program I'm on, but now that I'm not really in a hurry to lose weight, I don't mind doing it. Okay. Cumin, I'm skipping the sugar, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. I think I might have said 4 to you guys because I kept getting confused because we usually double the recipe, but I got 2 teenagers that are working tomorrow, so I'm not doubling. There'll still be extra, but I don't feel a need to double. That's about 2. I also don't worry. Oh, the little cap is melting. I don't worry about getting measurements perfect. Tomato paste. 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. Oh, I put out ginger. Look, this is ginger. It was supposed to be garlic powder. That would be weird. That would not taste good. Here's my garlic powder. Alright. Not seeing garlic powder, so I'm going to use garlic. This is better anyway. Can I get an amen? Ugh. Ugh. And you want to be generous, man. Garlic. I mean, this is chili. Can't be shy with the garlic. Alright, stir that around. 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Whoa, whoops, I think I just dumped 1/2 teaspoon in by spilling it. Oh well, now it's in there. Then we get the beef broth, 1.5 cups of beef broth. This was also partial. I love getting to do things like this because it uses up whatever broth I have going on in the refrigerator. Oh, I just exactly had 1.5 cups. I was about to grab the chicken broth from the other recipe. Okay, and then we're going to do 1/2 of this can of tomato sauce. And this is the unseasoned tomato sauce. Don't be confused with spaghetti sauce. And then the 15 ounces of diced tomatoes, the can of beans. I think that's it. I did it. All right, we're gonna let it simmer. I'm gonna taste it a little because I didn't add this sugar. I'll probably have my husband taste it, but I don't think it needs sugar. And part of it is because we don't eat sugar. We're just not even used to that. So I am gonna let this simmer for maybe, let's see. All right, I'm gonna let it simmer for the 20 to 25 minutes. And then I'm going to let it sit and completely cool. I'll put it in something and put it in the fridge. So it should thicken down a bit. So this is what it looks like before it starts really bubbling. And now it's time for me to treat myself to a little break. Oh, one more meal I forgot about. So interrupting. This is the interrupting cow moo. No, I'm interrupting to say I also have stuff in the house to make a zuppa toscana soup. So that actually gets me 2 weekdays, which with our crazy schedule and leftovers and nights when we all kind of just hunt and gather, that might be plenty because I also have pasta in the house. the girls could have pasta and sauce one day, and Robin and I could have leftovers, or we could just, we're good at scrounging. And my daughter Rachel, she's really good about just having a chicken breast every night with some vegetables. So we'll just see. I might actually be fine for the week. That's good. I guess I'm boring. Am I boring? Woozy, am I boring? If you got some motivation from this video, click on the subscribe button. If you haven't already, I invite you to be part of our family here on YouTube. And remember, as always, that God loves you and I love you too. And I can't wait to see you next time.